Today's episode of Inside Gaming Daily is brought to you by Quip. You can get your first refill pack for free at getquip.com/inside.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Inside Daily for Monday.
Hey, it's Monday. We clap for Monday. We clap for all the good things going on in gaming culture. So here's a question to kick off your Monday. Let's say people are upset about something in a video game.
The question is, should you A, fix it,
Easy.
B, fix it and apologize,
Also easy.
or C, ignore your fans and hope the issue goes away?
Oh, the easiest of all. Ignore it and hope it disappears. Well, if you respawn and your game is Apex Legends, you choose option D. Go on Reddit and call your players dicks and freeloaders.
That is an original choice.
That's right. But that's what happened on Friday when two Respawn employees went on the Apex Legends subreddit to talk about a recent controversy involving the newly released Iron Crown event.
Yeah, tell us more, Brian.
Yeah, so the event included some new skins, but the skins were locked behind loot boxes called Apex Packs. They were expensive and grindy to get, so not a great combination.
We gotta take to the streets. Get your pitchforks, it's time for a riot. So players revolted, obviously, and Respawn eventually got rid of the loot box mechanic and changed it to where players could just buy the skins for about $18 each.
Yeah, Drew McCoy of Respawn posted an update about the event detailing the changes they made. He called it a, quote, learning experience, and said for the future events, they'll give players more ways to get items than just through Apex Packs, aka loot boxes.
Like for right now, you can just pay us $18 for the skin you want. Easy.
Makes sense.
What's the problem with that? Free to play game, they want to charge for skin. It's a little pricey, but no problem. I'll be a responsible adult and just go on about my day.
Of course, and if that was the case here, that'd be the end of the story and we'd just be moving on about our day, but no.
No.
Things happen.
Yes, the developers exposed themselves to the flames of the internet and got roasted like a stuck pig on Friday. The developers went on Reddit to chat with the fans about the changes. Flip that chair around, turn the ball cap around, time to rap with you guys. Just gonna hang out with my bros.
Let me tell you about the Lord, known as Apex Legends.
Yeah, why don't you smoke a fat doobie of prayer with your number one homie, Jesus Christ?
That doobie being the wine of Jesus Christ himself. Anyway, tell us more, Brian. What happened?
So, two Respawn employees, a project lead who went by DK05, and JFresh_Respawn, the Respawn community manager, addressed the fans on Reddit. Now, some outlets identified DK05 as Drew McCoy, and JFresh is probably Jay Frechette, given that they both have the community manager title for Respawn.
Man,
Good sleuthing.
Jay Fresh does sound like a youth group pastor. Just gonna throw that out there. Some of their interactions with fans were totally fine. One Redditor named It Is Pizza Time made a joke about EA forcing them to overly monetize Apex Legends, which prompted a cheeky response from DK05.
Yes, so far so good.
Yeah, it's fine. They're being genuine.
Yeah.
They're being the thing that everyone says they want developers to be.
Oh, but we haven't hit the downhill part yet, no. Other players voiced their displeasure about monetization, especially that a single skin costs $18. Actually, it's $20
Yeah.
because of the way they sell currency in the game. So that's really when things went off the rails.
Yeah, one Reddit user, Davis2, called them greedy and told them to, quote, stop f***ing your player base who commit their time to play your game.
In response, DK05 called that person a dick and said their comment was garbage. That doesn't warrant a reply. You don't?
So it's like, you can see it happen of the escalation in tone of like players will volley something, the developer's like, don't f***ing say that, you ass. And then the player's like, oh, how dare you? And then, yeah, it's just
They got
one-upping
you.
in
You
there.
got.
And another DK05 wrote, quote, I've been in the industry long enough to remember when players weren't complete asshats to developers, and it was pretty neat.
Well, it's more of a quieter one-way relationship. But anyway,
Yeah.
DK05 also said that Apex Legends players are mostly freeloaders, which amazingly rub people the wrong way. I took that when I read it as a lot of you are freeloaders, and that's great because we have a player base, but sarcasm and humor is really hard to read in text form.
Yeah, and especially when you start pulling things out of context. So specifically in that quote, he said that they were freeloaders, and we love that. Most people don't pay. And he was
Right.
trying to explain the economy of the game.
But when it's already everything has a negative
Yeah.
slant, it's gonna be really hard to dig yourself out of that hole.
Meanwhile, JFresh also got into it with players, suggesting that one Reddit user should work on their reading comprehension.
Nice. Tell us more, Brian. This is depressing me.
Another Reddit user pointed out that it's not a great look to call people asshats and dicks in your apology post, of all places, to which
point.
JFresh replied, so it's fine for you all to call us liars, full of shit, and other personal attacks when we communicate an apology and update to the event, but we're immature when we call people out on it. Got it.
I mean, yeah, I'm sorry to say, but yes, that is the exchange. People on the internet get to say whatever they want to you, and you kind of have to be the bigger person all the time.
You can get into a one-on-one fight with somebody and belittle that person and win the argument. The problem is you're doing it in a crowd of people.
Yep.
So everyone just sees you being a dick. It's just never a good look.
Also, that person might just be 14. That's something that I kind of try to always remember when somebody's coming out with some pretty harsh language. They might be drunk or 14 or both. Europe, you guys are a little loose out there.
Cool 14-year-old.
Or I'm 14, you never know.
Respawn Respawn isn't some tiny indie studio, so you'd think they'd have some experience interacting with the public, at least in this sort of way.
I will say that the tone has definitely changed. People are way more vicious now than they used to be, and that's not just like rose-tinted glasses. People go for the jugular verbally as hard as they can. And I think to some degree, some of them are actually bad faith, and they're trying to provoke a response so that they can grab it and run and be like, look at how angry the developers are. You have to know that that's the game.
Makes for a great news story on a Monday morning.
It sure does, yeah. And their parent company, EA, definitely has experience in that area, at least getting on the internet. They almost certainly have an entire PR staff who do this kind of thing for a living. That is, get on directly.
The last thing you ever want to do is go and insult your fans, or just your fan base in general, especially the one replying to an AMA, because those are probably your core base.
100% they are, yeah. That's just basic customer service. Rule 1, don't be rude to the customers. The most you can do is a dignified, I'm sorry, sir, but I won't interact with you that way. If you maybe check your tone, we can try again.
It's not clear if the developers were having a bad day or what.
It's pretty clear they were having a bad day.
Regardless, the end result was a bunch of angry players who felt very talked down to say the least.
Yeah, I don't know, Brian. It seems to me like they were trying to be like honest and jokey, right? But the tone just got mixed up somewhere in the way.
I think in some cases it did seem like they were trying to joke around or be a little off the cuff, but the problem is this is the internet and it's really hard to discern people's tone, so if they were trying to do that, it really fell flat.
Yeah, especially when you have people in the audience who want to fight. Like they're the guys going, boy, in the back, and they'll take a joke and take it out of context and then try and represent it poorly to other people, either because they're hurt or they want to, have a nice little spicy drama fest, which is what we got here, so.
Yeah, and I think in other cases, they were very clearly annoyed with players by calling them dicks and things like that. So that was clearly a case, I think, of taking it too far, or at least letting your annoyance show.
But of course, this is not the first time that we've seen this before, where a bad developer AMA just turned into a dumpster fire. What about those, Brian?
A few years back, when the devs who made Battlefront 2 tried one on Reddit, they were confronted by hordes of angry players who did not like the game's microtransactions. It was a complete mess. Then there was, I think this was earlier this year, when somebody at THQ Nordic thought it would be a good idea to host an AMA on 8chan of all places.
Yeah, that's the website that has suddenly been launched into prominence for hosting the racist manifestos of mass shooters.
What could go wrong there?
Cool. Also, a little bit of child porn, just a little sprinkle. THQ Nordic later apologized, but it obviously wasn't a great look.
Yeah, but this latest AMA disaster might be the worst thing ever, because the devs seem to personally insult fans of their game, and that's not really good for the longevity of the title that you're representing.
Yeah, you really gotta lick boot if you want to come back from that. Be like, we are so sorry, you were so right, which is the hardest thing to do when you feel like the internet's been personally crappy to you, especially when you're staying late on a Friday to answer their questions, and you're making a game for them for free. So I get kind of where the developers might be a little spurned in all this, but that's the game, man.
Yeah,
this is when you make a free-to-play game, you're trying to get everyone, and that includes some people who get a little shitty.
And we're talking about a free-to-play battle royale game, which just sounds like buzzwords in some conference where a bunch of CEOs are jerking each other off. Apex Legends, while it is a really good game, it actually needs all the fans it can get right now.
The game got off to a quick start when it launched earlier this year, but its main rival Fortnite has since retaken its spot as the top battle royale game by a wide margin.
Fortnite ended up borrowing a lot of Apex Legends' best features, like the ping system and the respawn mechanic.
But can you slide?
Maybe, it's been a while.
It has been a minute since I played Fortnite, I'm not gonna lie. But Apex Legends is still hanging in there. Season 2 just launched in July, and EA said in a recent earnings report that it's still drawing 8 to 10 million players every week.
EA's chief financial officer, Blake Jorgensen, said in a recent earnings call that Apex Legends will continue operations in the next 10 years.
EA is really fond of slapping the decade on all their games.
It's really weird.
Apex, Anthem, basically if it starts with an A.
I will eat some form of hat if Apex Legends is still around in some form 10 years from now.
Certainly it won't be around in 10 years if they keep insulting their fans.
No.
Justified or not, it's still not something you can do. Meanwhile, yesterday an angry player posted a response on, where else? Reddit. It sounds like nobody's willing to forgive and forget, except that everyone's collective attention span is about a half a minute long. So I think a week from now it might blow over.
Oh, of course, something else will happen. Someone will say something racial. What did the post say, Brian?
So the post by user Cool Oats accuses the dev and PR team over at Respawn of committing the ultimate cardinal sin, getting personal.
Oh, I thought it was diddling kids.
Yeah, they went on to write, quote, "You've set a new tone for the kind of interaction we'll be having with you. It's a cold one where there aren't any illusions about the reality of the situation. Previous notions of family are dead. We are mere consumers to you, and that is obvious."
Yikes.
We actually saw something similar to this recently with the whole controversy over Ooblets and its developers announcing they were going exclusive to the Epic Games Store.
The dev team got a little cheeky in their announcement, but some players were offended at what they consider to be rude and a condescending tone.
Like it or not, developers have to be a million times more diplomatic in these situations. Sometimes getting in there and mixing it up with the community can result in some serious backlash. You'd like to think it'll earn you cred, right? All those dudes on 4chan who are just like bashing about microtransactions all day will like look at your snappy comeback and be like, oh, he's our guy. He's actually good, cool. He's one of us. But it never ever works that way.
You gotta just take a page out of the CD Projekt Red playbook, which is look at what everyone hates and then do the opposite of it.
Oh, like the dark developer?
So right now everyone hates the Epic Game Store. The best thing Respawn could do right now is go, hey, just so you know, we pass on the Epic Game Store. I mean, legally we can.
Never actually had a meeting about it, but just like, we said no. We emailed Respawn for comment about the situation, but haven't heard back yet. Something tells us we're not the only ones emailing them today.
And to bring it all to a close, we'd like to entertain you guys with a little theater, just to show how reasonable and even tempered the exchange actually was the whole time.
Yes, cue us some tasteful music, Autumn. Yes, that'll do. Infamous Messiah writes, oh sorry. You aren't a bullshitter, just a liar, schemer, egocentric narcissist, bystander of bad business practices, morally corrupt, a sellout, child gambling peddler, a spineless shill. No, but never a bullshitter.
How do you pronounce this? Asgred?
Asgred?
I guess I need a toy to wear. Hold on.
This is serious, Adam.
I'll be playing the role of Asgred. Believe it or not, some of us are in similar industries and know exactly how it works. So f off pretending that we are so f***ing stupid that we can't see what you were trying to do. God damn, what a pretentious prick you are. No wonder this is your first hit your studio has had. At least EA stepped in to save you, I guess.
Ooh.
Stirring read. All right, final one here. Ephemial writes, yes, you're humans. You're the greediest pieces of garbage ever placed on this earth.
Not personal at all.
No. How dare the developers get personal? How dare they?
You're not allowed to.
Today's episode of Inside Gaming Daily is brought to you by Quip, because when you go on the internet and bash out the worst possible things you can possibly write, you're gonna need to wash your mouth out with something. In the past, we used soap, but now we have soothing, sensitive sonic vibrations to blast your teeth clean of all that developer invective you had to wash out of your mouth. Quip is a motorized toothbrush that sends replacement heads to you through the mail on a dentist recommended schedule, which means no longer will it be using the same toothbrush for 5 years. Those bristles wear out. They don't scrub your teeth clean anymore. So this way you don't have to worry about it. Also, Quip, since it's motorized, it's got a little buzzing action. They call it sensitive sonic vibrations, which is the best phrase and also the best band, if it exists. It's got a built-in timer, so it pulses to tell you when to switch quadrants in your mouth, and make sure that you brush your teeth for the dentist recommended 2 minutes total. And brush heads are automatically delivered, like I said, which means that your teeth are never gonna be cleaner. Which means, so when you're sitting at your computer and bashing out your Shakespearean missive about how developers are all greedy, then you'll have a good smile to back it up. And everyone trusts a good smile. So if you're on Reddit tearing it up, you want people to trust you, and you want to have clean, fresh breath. Those are the two things that matter most to a gamer who's defending their pastime. You can get a refill pack for free at getquip.com/inside. Starts at just $25, and you can get your first refill pack for free at getquip.com/inside. Thank you, Quip, for the sponsorship, and thank you for keeping these boys white as hell.
Make show? We good to go? Brian, you hear us? Everything's good?
Yeah, y'all are coming and fine to me.
Up first.
The stars have aligned.
Let's do it.
Oh, I got burp. Wait.
I'm waiting.
Wait for it.
Don't want to be near the snow.
Okay, I think I'm good.
Pull the ripcord. No, bad. Is that where we go, Lawrence, for the cool, edgy stuff?
Yeah, man. That's what I call Edgy 14. Featuring such tracks as Hitler Did Nothing Wrong.
Oh.
The wage gap is a myth.
Okay,
Is this a mixtape you're selling?
If you're not familiar with 8chan, first off, good for you. It's a soul-darkening part of the internet that spun off from 4chan because it was just too